What up, y'all?
Hey.
This is Poor Bill and
Coh V.
reporting live from the MOBCAST studio.
Yes, that's right. The MOBQC headquarters.
What number is this? This is MOBCAST
44.
44. Fo. We up in here.
The fofo.
It's the fofo. Ferrero. I think we agreed upon, since it's just you and I, we're gonna spit some stuff about our travels in the past, recent travels as well.
That's right.
Maybe we'll reach back into the past.
Yeah, maybe.
And we'll touch a little bit on time travel and maybe
Yeah.
Perception of that.
I was gonna say, shit, if I have to talk about all my travels, it's gonna be a long episode.
Yeah, it will be time travel. It'll be 2 hours later.
That's right.
So I will kick it off, I guess.
Yeah, where you been?
So we'll go back. We'll start back to front, or I guess front to back.
You've been around because you're not originally from here either.
Well, I see that was a lie that I believed myself, and I told everybody since I was a child that I was born in Florida. Apparently, I was born here in the Quad Cities. At one point, I was told it was in a hospital over in Davenport, and I don't know why it would be, but we'll just say I'm from Moline originally. And at a pretty young age, my mother took me down to Florida. And I believe that was where we lived with her father for the most part. It's really faint memories, but I do have like a couple vivid memories of being down there. I mean, anybody that knows me should, and hasn't seen these pictures, should see these pictures. You would think that I was swapped out as a child at some point because I was such a cute kid. Little nose like a button, just a little perfect nose, and then I don't know if it's puberty or testosterone or hormones. This motherfucker grew all wacky and big, and so now.
Mine's worse, as you can see from the side.
But looking at
profile.
Your kid pictures, you always kind of looked fucked up. No,
yeah, it's true.
I
had a button nose. I think everyone has a button nose, and then some people keep a button nose for some reason. Somehow.
Yeah, Woody. Shout out to Woody for keeping his little ass nose. But yeah, just grew into a beak at some point. But I've got pictures of me down in Florida with this bleach blonde mullet. Like, my mom gave me the raddest haircuts, I guess. Looking back on it, you know what I'm saying?
The mullets are back in nowadays.
Yeah,
so you might want to consider regrowing.
And honestly, I've played around with the idea of bleaching my hair blonde. Yeah. If it wasn't such a, if it wouldn't pop so much at work, you don't. The only rule at my job is for facial hair and.
But aren't you wearing a hat?
Hairs don't do anything that's gonna draw attention or pop out and be kind of like a distraction.
But it's still blonde. I could
do the blonde.
Easily have been born that way. Like
right.
You could have.
I could color my hair
it's
blonde.
It's a real hair color.
But having a mullet, they might say something about that.
Why?
You know what? I agree with you. Why? It's stupid.
I say you go for it and see what happens.
They got an image they want to uphold.
Well, I thought you had to wear a hat.
No, you don't have to.
Well,
I just do because it hides like the majority of my ugly, which is located up in this region. And most of the time when people come up to my desk, I have my shit like this, so they can't even see into my eyes, which happens to be my best feature, I think. I've been told. But, so yeah.
Why don't you just wear the hat then and do it?
I mean, yeah, I want to. Now that we're talking about it, I've never really thought about it.
He's going to do it, guys. He's going to do it.
Yeah, let's not place any bets away just yet. But,
hold him to it. DM him and tell him.
Yeah, I think I could rock that shit out. Like a blonde. But that's the thing. Those pictures of me as a child with angel hair, you know what I'm saying? And it was bleached by the sun of being down in Florida on the beach every day. My mom was always tanning out on the beach ever since I've known her.
That's why you have skin cancer now.
Yeah, no, let's not say that. Where's the wood?
There's none around here.
No, she doesn't have anything like that.
Not you. Or not her, you.
Oh, yeah, me. Yeah, I've got some spots I'm worried about.
She's like taking you out there as a
like, I got a mark right here that would have been like a cool birthmark, but I wasn't born with it. I don't have it in any of my pictures as a kid, even in elementary school. It just kind of formed over time. I should get it checked out, but I'm scared that if I go get it checked out, they're going to take a fucking chunk out of it. I'm going to be even when it heals up, it's going to look like I have a fucking dent right in the middle of this
Maybe
thing.
they can lightly scrape it. Or just...
It's kind of cool. I don't even need a face tattoo. It's just a big brown shit stain right next to my left eye. It's kind of cool.
It's like you have a teardrop if you killed someone. You got that if you took a shit on someone.
Right. Well, if I kill somebody in a celestial scale, I guess.
Or in a past
Maybe
life.
I ate a planet in my past life as an entity. But okay, so yeah, Florida. Lived there for I don't know few years. I believe I came back when I was. It's fuzzy. Either 4 or 5. Definitely not 3. I think 3 I was still down there. Came back. I remember that because that was the first time I actually met my father, like consciously, as a conscious being. Remember meeting him. It was like my birthday or something, and he had a Power Rangers candles on the cake and shit. So that was significant. But and I just remember there being 6 candles, or the number 6. So maybe it was 6. Yeah, Florida, man. And we've gone back a lot, like growing up, for vacation and stuff with my mom, siblings, and my stepfather. Shout out to Tom. So yeah, I mean, it's always been nostalgic for me. Disney World, Universal Studios, more so like adolescent, like younger adult phase is when I first went there. But so that's where I gained my love for like the magic old kingdom. The magic
kingdom.
And
a lot of times I feel bad for people that didn't get to experience Disney World back in the day.
Oh yeah, man,
kids.
I'm so fortunate. We're so fortunate to have been able to go, like have parents that shit is expensive. I don't know how much it was when I was a kid, but that shit was probably not cheap back
Especially
then
if you do the whole thing where you stay at their resorts and shit.
Oh, right.
That would be insane. But dude, as a kid, like that shit was literally
that's like
magical.
Upper middle class even.
Yeah.
That's more like upper class. Upper middle class don't even want to fuck with the resort.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, and seriously thinking back on it, and I'm making a point in my life in the next couple years to at least go back there at least one more time. Hopefully it's not the last time, but go back to the Magic Kingdom and Universal Studios and experience the magic one more time. And you might think to yourself, ugh, like he's reliving his childhood. It's a little. At least I'm not fucking dressing up in a diaper, talking like a baby. It's
there's levels to this. It could be worse.
And the beach, the smell of ocean water hitting sand is just imprinted in my brain, and I just can't wait till I can smell it again. You recently?
I just got back from Florida.
Yeah. Tell us about that.
That was a good time, I guess. A short time, but it was nice just to get away. Of course.
You went on like a whole week excursion.
I went across the country in a week, and like, sort of. I fucking flew out to Arizona, then drove to fucking Florida, and flew back here.
Yeah.
Goddamn. Yeah, it's nice to get out to the ocean again.
I wish I could have gone with you.
I know.
That would have been
time.
Like, it would have been probably stressful at points. The whole moving
literally
shit
would
across
not
the
have
country.
been room. There's no way, which is ridiculous. But yeah, it was nice getting back out to that ocean, especially in fucking Naples, which is like one of the richest cities in the country or some shit. And they got nice beaches. A lot of it's like pretty white sand and shit.
Did you you didn't happen to visit the Shark Tooth Beach, did you?
I don't believe
I don't think that's what it's really called, but we always call it that. It's a beach lined with mostly baby shark teeth, but it's lined with shark teeth.
No way.
Yeah, in the sand. Oh, yeah.
Where is it?
Literally, you will find so many that it's not even that big of a deal. Like, unless you see a big one. Most of them are pretty tiny.
Huh? Where was it? I'd make a whole necklace
somewhere in Florida. I could look it up.
Where were you from in Florida? Where did you live?
Sarasota is where we were staying.
What side is that? Is that like in the Gulf Coast side or on the?
I couldn't tell you, mate. Wait, we got a map right here.
Yeah. On the inside or on the outside? You don't know?
Okay, you don't have a map of just Florida. No, I don't know.
Actually, there's
I imagine it was near
a closer map of Florida up there.
I imagine it was near the beach or coast of some sort because my mom was on the beach almost every day. And I remember the snow cone man or the ice cream man come by on his. I don't know how. Thinking back on it, how the fuck do you just push an ice cream cart through the sand all day? It must have been on like skis or something.
Yeah, that's kind of odd.
But I mean, the snow cone, I mean, has a toddler.
That Hawaiian ice
type shit.
Dude, yeah, that shit's fun. Yeah, because, as you know, I've traveled a bunch when I was younger.
Yeah.
Which is very fucking fortunate for me. Like, I'm super blessed and lucky.
This dude's been around the entire United States.
And it's insane because, I was raised pretty poor, you know, but
Right,
I was able to have, you know, like, you know, I had a dad though that would come and take me out on trips during the summer and stuff like that. So I had that side where
that's fucking beautiful. That like he made a point.
he would come and rescue me from my poverty and take me out,
right? Yeah, and then throw me away when we were done.
Yeah, drop me back off at the ghetto. No, I'm just kidding.
Shout out to your dad and your mom, both really awesome people.
Yeah.
I always thought that was cool when we first met back in middle school and hanging out, and when I first found out that you'd been to all these states. I think by that time, I don't know, you'd been to most of them, like 49 maybe. I don't know.
I don't know, because I've been to...
Maybe 48.
I had been to all 50 states, Canada, Mexico, and Jamaica by the time I was 17.
Jesus.
So it's some perspective.
Repeat that again for these people. Listen, real quick. For those of you who have only vacationed one or two places like myself.
You got to get out there. I mean, I know money's tight, but you got to save up a little bit here and there, and you got to make it happen. Even
and for that kind of thing specifically.
Even going out on small weekend trips, you got to do it. Like, just even the next few states over or something. Just make it drive.
Right.
Like,
just the fact, even if you spent one day in each state, even half a day, you had been to every state. You had seen a portion of every state. Mm-hmm. Did you ever go to that point where it's like the 4 states meet up?
Yeah, I got pictures of me laying out.
No shit. Nice. Post it or it didn't happen.
That's pretty cool. I want to go back there. I want to go back to a lot of places. Like, because, you know, I got to travel a lot with my dad, and I've always envisioned, like, man, I want to do this shit again with, like, friends and stuff.
Oh,
you know?
yeah. That'd be magical.
And we will. And we've already started, sort of, you know? So,
yeah,
we're getting out there, but what were we talking about?
That was a good lead into starting to do that.
Exactly, yeah. But yeah, I flew out to Arizona this last trip, and the whole reason was I was helping my elderly mother move across the fucking country, and that's fucking...
I didn't say it, he did.
She said it. Fucking, that's like insane. She needed my help for sure, because she's a cowgirl, you know, a rancher, but it's basically...
Yeah, I've seen all those pictures of back in her day, like back in the day.
Yeah, she's a fucking old school, used to train and show horses. Shout out to her. She's a bad bitch.
Dude, she's bad as fuck, man. Mm-hmm. She's lived a lot more than a lot of people.
Yeah.
She's lived more than a lot of people have.
And so apparently she
was also there when Martin Luther got assassinated, but
we can have a podcast with her someday and have a lot of...
I guess maybe I never made her specify on how close in proximity...
In the city?
State?
She's making it sound like it was the same hotel, but I think she was in a different hotel and shit went down, but I think it was in the same area.
I imagine shit would go crazy everywhere once that shit went down. Like,
yeah, she could have been somewhere in the south near that. It could have been the same town or near it. Some shit went down.
I mean, she's like, what? She's been a veterinary assistant at some point?
Yeah,
she's been a police officer?
Police, yeah.
This is about travels, no, Betty. No,
she'll be on next week with... No. Yeah, so she's always had several animals. She's been a big animal lover, you know, being a vet tech and shit. My whole life, I've lived in a zoo, too. That's another thing.
Yeah.
And, which is great. Got to be around a lot of different kind of animals too, because we had a lot of weird shit too at some points. Yeah. But and I love animals, but
birds are exotic as I would even go, but I wouldn't even go to that point.
Yeah.
Hamster is like the most exotic thing I've
Right. Yeah. So, and you know, I love animals, but I'm so glad that I don't have any animals anymore, because I've gotten my fill. Please, I'm fucking.
And I've even brought it up to you, like, man, I just really want a cat. Well, it stays in your room forever. It doesn't leave.
Yeah, I'm glad I got some peace now. And no
you've had your
responsibilities. I don't have the time
to.
I do not have the time to care for another living creature.
It just must feel like such a relief not having to, because all your life you have had to feed and water and
all
take
my life is doing chores.
Yeah, chores. Yep.
Yeah, chores. Fucking so glad that's over.
And once the last bit of the animals were out with her, it's just like total
she
freedom.
Took the rest of her animals out, and
we moved our.
Yeah, because she moved out to Arizona, so with all of her fucking animals, and now she has 2 horses. You know, being a horse lover. So now she's not at her place in Arizona anymore. She moved to a place in Florida, so I helped her move her and all her animals and horses and all of her shit down.
It sounded like I was kind of jealous that you were going, but then I thought about all the shit that you guys were gonna have to do to move all the horses. I didn't even realize she had horses to move down there. And how are they going to fare in Florida? I wonder how they do in tropical.
That's all good.
Equine.
Her one horse is a wild horse from the deserts of California, so he's used to that nice shit, and he liked Arizona. The Florida is just like more mosquitoes and more humidity.
We don't say wild horses, we say indigenous horses.
Native.
Yeah, mosquito. Oh man,
like they have at the place she's staying, there's other horses too. She's with a friend who has 5 horses, and when they're outside, like their tails are just going like flapping because like the bugs and shit,
right.
Like knock the bugs away. But I mean, they'll be all right. The horse was up here too in the Midwest for a while,
right?
So
right.
I'm sure it's gonna like not being around winter. Anyway,
yeah.
So.
Yeah, I've always seen horses up here, and I wonder how they. I mean, they got to be built for the shit because you always see rancher movies, like open range and shit. They got horses, wild horses running around in the fucking mountains, basically. Like,
But,
so she's all settled in.
Yeah, I guess.
Final destination was Florida.
So yeah, we had to haul the horses down. Me and her switching off driving. We're hauling the horse trailer and everything.
Okay, so you guys were in the same vehicle and stuff.
Yep.
Nice. How long did you get to spend in Florida?
I was only there for the day we got there, we were so tired, we slept most of the day.
No shit.
We got there at like 5 a.m. the day God. We got there.
Drove through the night?
We drove constantly. We only slept for maybe, we would switch off driving.
Yeah.
And so there was only 2 times where we both stopped and slept, and it was maybe an hour each time, so we only stopped for a couple hours in total. But the whole trip took even longer than it would normally take because each time we had to stop for gas, she's got to take care of the horses, feed them, water them, this and that. We got to take her dog out, and she has a lot of her animals she's had forever, so they're all very old and they're all dead now. So
yeah, that's the sad part. Every time I hear the news that one's kicked the bucket, I'm like, oh man, it's like the end of an era.
Oh, so all of her animals, most of them have died since she'd been out to Arizona, which sucks, but for the travel, it was really a good thing because we'd have had so much, even less room in that fucking truck because we had to take. She only got 1 cat and 1 dog now.
Yeah,
so
man, and they have dwindled down because there was a whole pack of them.
Yeah, a whole pack. So now it made the travel a lot easier, I have to say. But
so how long did you?
And easier on me because that's the thing. I couldn't even help her with the horses or anything or do much because I'm
allergic. Did you get to pet them at least?
Yeah, I have, and I was gonna ride them, but I didn't have time. I'll ride them next time and shit. And I've fed them before, but out of my hand and stuff, But I didn't fuck with them much at all or anything.
I feel bad for them if you ride them with your bony ass.
Yeah, their bony backs are gonna hurt me. Fucking, but they're shit. What was I saying? Because I'm so fucking allergic to hay and stuff, so I can't be around that trailer. Keep me away from that horse trailer. And
that was good for you too. You ain't gotta do.
I used to be used to having all these animals, but ever since I don't have animals anymore, I've lost my tolerance to that.
Yeah, he doesn't have asthma anymore.
I don't.
Yeah, you don't even take your shit anymore.
Yeah, and and that was going away for a long time anyway. I think a lot of times you can grow out of that shit.
Oh yeah, also diet and exercise. You've been fucking maintaining that shit for years now, so.
Yeah, I guess so. Doesn't look like it, but yes.
I can see the difference, mate.
But
hey, can you guys excuse us? Dude, you look great these days, bro. Just affirmations, man.
Thank you, bro. Don't make me cry on camera, bro.
It's always harder, or it always takes longer, and you know this, to build noticeable muscle, like on your arms and shit when you have long appendages.
Yeah, especially someone my build who's super skinny anyway.
But
it's easy. If you're losing weight, usually people that have to lose weight, they're big anyway. And once they start to tone down, then it just starts to look good because they're big anyway.
I'm lucky I got small appendages, so if I ever do start working out again, I'll get some noticeable results a little quicker than having such you got a foot long bicep muscle. So.
Yeah.
So how long did you get to spend in Florida? You said you went to the beach the day before you got here.
We really only spent a day and a half there, doing stuff, because that day we got there, I don't think we got there until
5 a.m. or something. You said.
Man, when the fuck?
Semantics.
I thought it was Friday, maybe it was Thursday, but yeah, we were there at 5 a.m. and we ended up like sleeping that whole day, you know, and then just went out for some fire Mexican food later.
You didn't get no barbecue while you was down? Like,
no, dude,
you went to Texas as well when you were on.
We were just passing through Texas and shit, and we didn't really stop much. But I was all about trying to get some good Mexican food this trip, and I did. Everywhere we went was great.
Nice. You were saying that. When I think...
shout out to Molcayetes in Naples, Florida.
I think that means booger eater.
No. Mortar and pestle.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. And that's exactly what I think. When I hear authentic Mexican food... or authentic anything, you know, food that recipes that root back to, you know, almost the dawn of man, like our ancestors were eating. I think of like tortillas made out of mortar and clay or something. So when I hear authentic Mexican food,
I'm like, that's what they used.
Well, yeah, but when I hear authentic anything, I'm like, so you're talking fish guts and clay tortillas, basically.
Intestines and, you know.
And rawhide. You just eat rawhide. Moco, that's the name for a booger, I think.
Oh.
So what is it? Mocha?
Molcayetes.
Mocha. That's a pretty cool name.
Yeah.
Something in mortar.
If you're there, go there. It was fire. Amazing.
Florida.
But
or Texas.
I mean, yeah, so I couldn't really help much. So it's like each time we had to stop, you know, she basically had to do everything to help take care of the horses and shit because I was already
You're just like, hurry up, let's get the show on the road.
Dude, being in the car with just the one cat and dog, thank God there weren't more because that was like bad enough. I've like stuffed up or runny nose the whole time, you know. My shit was like my nose getting chapped towards the end of the trip.
No,
you know?
yeah.
My lips are all chapped. I'm just like,
and you're in hot weather too. So, God, that's gotta be the worst.
And I find that weird that if you're exposed to like a virus or something, you'll overcome it, and now your body's immune to it.
Right.
I used to be immune to animals, and my body's like, forget it. We don't need to.
Yeah, we don't need this.
Why is that?
The system.
Why is that? And I was wondering, is it because we're not supposed to live with animals, people? Is that it?
You know what? Not indoors, at least. Probably,
yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
That's a good point.
Is it? You tell me.
I feel like that's probably, yeah.
Why would I live my whole life with countless, like a zoo of animals, and it was fine.
And you eventually developed some sort of...
Yeah, I was immune to it, you know. Yeah. And then being away from it, my body was like, no, we don't... Like my body's looking at it like, this is useless.
Right.
We don't need to be
the system
immune
anymore.
to this anymore. Why would... If I'm immune to... If I get sick with a virus or something and then overcome that, then I'm like immune to it. Why wouldn't I just be still immune to sneezing or whatever?
Like, that is weird.
And I can be around dogs and animals and even pet them. I just can't. Then I just need to wash my hands.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I'm like that to a point. Like with cats,
it'll irritate my skin or something. Any
kind of cat except for Bigum's, the hairless one. Basically hairless. Like if there's any kind of cat, long haired. I mean, my eyes get itchy as fuck if I touch my eyes at all. You know, the dander and shit.
But if they rub up on me, my skin will get fucked up too.
So weird.
But yeah, so it was just, you know, it was rough, I guess, but it was fun. I mean, it was a good time for sure.
Hell yeah.
Me and her, but
a nice final hurrah.
I was driving, hauling fucking horse trailer and shit, and all this shit in this truck. Some asshole, he almost got us in a car accident. Like
Jesus,
some retard fucking Florida driver, R-worded Florida driver, cut us off. You know, cut us off. Like there was like fucking like 5 lanes. He's like merging, and he just comes right in front of us, fucking laying on my horn like, you fucking stupid piece of shit.
Because you can't slam down on the brakes with a trailer of horses.
We're fucking hauling livestock and shit.
Even if you had just a trailer of lumber, you can't slam on the brakes like. That shit will just fuck your trailer hitch up or something.
Yeah,
know?
Fucking
Unless
idiot.
The brakes are connected, I guess.
It's always Florida people. God, they're the worst.
I'll tell you what, speaking of travels, work, I think maybe last year around March maybe, they sent me to Wisconsin to work at a site up there, and I had a blast. It was a podunk town called Beaver Dam. You know, my boss is all talking it up. Oh, yeah, there's this restaurant, that restaurant. Well, every time I get off work, which would be maybe even sometimes 6 p.m., these motherfuckers are all closed.
At 6 p.m.
It's one of them towns that, like, if they weren't getting business or if they weren't busy, they would just close down.
Which is crazy because it's even dinner time.
Yeah, and I'm fucking starving, hoping to get some, you know, Berta beef type, you know, grade A shit, some grade A dairy. And I got to go to fucking McDonald's almost every night. next to the hotel, you know. But
Such a shame.
on the way out of Wisconsin, I nearly got into a terrible wreck. Probably not as bad as carrying a trailer behind you, but I look over and I see this truck driving, and he's got a fucking garbage bag taped up on the inside of the window. There's a window, but he's got a garbage bag over more than half of the window on his side, the driver's side. I don't know if it's to keep the sun out of his face.
The window was up all the way?
But yeah, the window was up all the way. Garbage bag was on the inside of the window, taped up or whatever.
Probably jerking
And
off.
all of a sudden, he starts, I'm like, oh, whoa, coming into my lane. And I'm like, you know, the front of my car is at a midway point, you know, to his car, his truck. He's kind of coming on, I'm like, oh, shit. I'm going like fucking 70. It's like a 75 mph.
With your old car.
Yeah, with my old
God.
beater. Like, and so I swerve over into almost a barricade, but luckily there was like, you know, 2 feet between the barricade and the line on the road, the lane. I'm fucking laying on my horn, dude. And he jerks back over. And I'm just like freaking out, you know. Fuck yeah! Ah! He can't even see me because he got a garbage bag over the shit.
He doesn't even get
I'm like, and then I passed a cop like really shortly after that. I'm like, this fucking guy, you know, trying to point him out. He didn't see me. He wouldn't have cared anyway. But
He'd pull you over like this crazy guy.
Yeah. Yeah, this just reminded me of that. Almost dying on my way out of Wisconsin. I'm like, wow, this was almost the end of my life. This 3 to 4 weeks spent in Wisconsin making hella bread, but also being bored as fuck.
Yeah.
I did hook up with this beautiful GM at the hotel.
Oh, yeah.
She's a great person, great girl. Hooked up in a sense. Didn't go all the way. But it was just so nice. Like, I didn't know what to expect. Of course, I was going to hop on Tinder as soon as I got over there.
Yeah.
You know, but I didn't even have to get on Tinder. The lady that worked the front desk at the hotel was like, cool. We started talking. And it was like one of those management of a hotel, like one of those really laxed, like it was like a Middle Eastern dude who just recently purchased, I guess, the hotel, or just recently became like the owner. So I don't think he was on the up and up about like what was going on, but she would have her kid there during the day. And her kid was like the sweetest thing ever, like super funny. But yeah, we eventually kicked it. I was like, this is going in the books.
Yeah.
Man. This is a memorable moment for me, not only being out of town, being in a totally different area, you know, hours away from where you're used to, but also like making a connection, no matter how shallow it might have seemed to her or me at the time, even, you know. It was cool. And I always, like, I'm still friends with her on Facebook, so hopefully she don't watch this shit. Yeah, and I think one time when I went to, the only time I ever been to Colorado was with Woody and our buddy Sam, and last minute they got me drunk the night before. Got me hammered, got me snockered up, and then proposed, hey, can we bring our girlfriends? And now I'm fucked up. At this point, I'm like, oh yeah, man, they're cool, man. They're all, you know, that's cool with me. Well, it was a big mistake because at one point, this was the breaking point for me. This is where I knew I wasn't gonna have a great time. I was playing this rapper Necro in the car stereo, and Necro's a very vulgar, vile
horror rap
lyricist. He has some horror shit, but he's also got like just some stone cold hip hop fucking. You know, I did find out though. I've heard a couple things of his back in the day where he says the N-word, the video I saw, he was in a room full of like on the East Coast, full of black friends and shit. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Maybe he got the pass or whatever. Distasteful for me. I don't like that shit. But I still fuck with the things that he has done. Anyway, I was playing this fucking song called Who's Your Daddy, I think, or maybe it was like called Vaginal Secretions. It's just all about, you know, fucking and sucking and shit. And old boy's girlfriend pops off from the back seat. You know, there's already tension in the car, but obviously I'm trying to have a good time. I'm listening to this shit. You know, it's like my tongue goes back and forth, and you know, she pops off. She's like, "Can you turn this disgusting shit off?" Oh my God, my skin crawled. I was furious. I'm like, yep, this was a mistake. My boys wouldn't be telling me to turn this shit off. I understand, like, any other day why you wouldn't want to hear that shit, especially being a female that respects yourself, you know? Mm-hmm. It's not empowering music for women, that's for sure. But there is a artistic and lyrical appeal to it, his work. So yeah, she said that. She's like, "Oh, fucking great." Of course, I cowered down and I turned it. But so yeah, if you're ever going out to travel, just make sure you know your buddy's girlfriend.
Make sure it's a cool trip.
Know her for real.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it sucked because we went to the Cannabis Cup that year. It was like we went there for the weekend of 420, and my mood was killed. By the time we got to the Cannabis Cup, I was like, this is fucking stupid. What do I want to look at brochures for your dispensary or, you know, like medical treatments? I just really didn't appreciate it. So I just, you know, they could all tell I was being pissy, and they're rightfully so. They're like, fuck you then. We're going to go have... So I sat there on the curb in the middle of the fucking Cannabis Cup and just smoked a joint to myself out in the open, which you could get in trouble for. I don't know about anymore, and I'm sure other locations might be more lax, but the whole way in there, they're like, you know, people are obviously smoking the whole way in there, even indoors, like in line. But the motherfuckers were watching out. They didn't want you smoking. They didn't want you to bring anything. I thought my idea was going in there was like, this is going to be dope. Go to all these different tents, get dabbed up, get some cool hats and some pens, and mostly just smoke, you know, Colorado pot. And the smell of the pot in the air, I don't know if it's just the oxygen there, but there's such a significant, a peculiar smell when somebody was lighting up. Like walking up to the Cannabis Cup, I was like, my God, I'm going to remember this smell for a long time, just like ocean water hitting the sand down in Florida. It's like, it was different than just smelling somebody around here smoking weed. Right. You know. And we actually recently went on a little excursion. Thanks to you for driving. Yeah.
We've been talking about it for a long time, and then we're like, finally, just like spur of the moment. Like, we got to go because we've been talking about going this year, so.
And I did, personally, I wanted to be able to take some time off to go do something, like from work, to use some PTO and just fucking, and that was, I think, that was the most perfect fucking time, like, aside from the shitty motel we were staying in the night before.
I just keep telling you it was nice, because take it from me, I've been in a lot of hotels.
Like, the room itself was nice, but that fucking continental breakfast service, it was more like content breakfast, because half of the shit that was supposed to be there wasn't even there.
Well, it's like, I don't know what you expect, because it's still better than a lot of things I've seen.
I just expect eggs, sausage, different kinds of bread for your toast.
It's not 5-star.
I've seen it in Super 8s before. You know what? If y'all have a discrepancy here, if you agree with me, comment.
Yeah, I mean, they had waffles.
Yeah, they had a waffle maker.
I've been to places that just had, like, cereal.
I guess maybe it was like a Days Inn or something that I'm thinking of. Because this shit was like, the front desk lady, I swear to God, it was the same one from the night before. She came out and looked like, in the morning when we went to breakfast, she came out looked like she slept there in the office or in a fucking room. And she had like two of her friends there that weren't even part of the company, just chilling.
She's probably working the 10-10 shift or whatever.
So we went to House on the Rock.
House on the Rock.
In Wisconsin.
Spring Green,
yeah. And my God, if anybody ever gets a chance to visit there, please do. And take the whole day to do it.
The whole fucking day.
Because you don't want to do a section or 2 sections even. You want to do the whole fucking thing.
You got to get there right when they fucking open, because you'll be there like all day.
You will be in awe. We were both in awe. Even not even halfway through when Cody lost his fucking phone.
It's like stepping into another dimension in this place. It's literally out of this fucking world. Tons of people. Worst place on the planet to lose your fucking phone. Right. Somehow. And I'm always the type of person to be like checking my shit.
Yeah.
Somehow.
I was surprised. I was like, wait, I'm checking mine to make sure I got my phone, because I thought if anybody was going to be irresponsible enough to lose the phone, it would have been me.
Somehow it's just gone.
And we're tripping, by the way. We dropped a tab of acid.
Which is why it was so great.
Right before we left the hotel.
Yes.
And I was fucking tripping by the time we started walking just through the gazebo
we
part.
were pulling up to this place. It's like a long road up to the entrance, and it's like these giant sculptures of like tea kettles with like lizards and dragons and flowers crawling on them.
In the middle of the woods, too.
In the woods.
Tall ass elms.
And then we're just sitting in the parking lot
shit.
waiting for it to open, and we're just like, oh God, here it comes.
Oh, it was so serene and like, it was so...
And peaceful.
And I want to say serenity, but yeah, it was peaceful as fuck, man. Because we got there, nobody was there except maybe some employees showing up here and there. But like it was just quiet, dead, like nature, squirrels running around. It's still early morning. That was an experience in and of itself, just pulling up in there.
Yeah.
It was like we were going to fucking Xavier's school for gifted children or special kids, because you pull up into this little driveway thing, but it's surrounded by woods. You go through, you get to the parking lot, which is like a fucking labyrinth in and of itself.
Yeah.
I don't know if we didn't park next to the door, I don't know how we would have found
it's
our
a
car.
big parking lot. If you would end up in the back.
So we're tripping, and then Cody's like, oh fuck, my phone.
My phone in the middle of this place. Like I'm telling you, it takes all day to go through this place. We had already been walking for several hours.
Yeah.
Then we get to this place, and then we find out I lose my phone. You know, we look around for a little bit, and then we're like, fuck,
We're
we just gotta
seriously
keep going.
tripping balls, backtracking like five
Between
times.
the point like where we thought it was, where I last had it, and then it's like, who knows, whatever, forget it. So we just
went
keep
into
going.
The music of yesterday, right? Is that what?
Or yesteryear or something, yeah.
It was in between there, the music portion, and the food.
The food, and
Little
then like past
restaurant
that
area.
a little bit with the other music stuff, or I don't know. But
Motherfucker went back, and we was looking like, I was so paranoid about the fact that we were gonna walk back there with families just lining the tables, eating their food. Every one of them was looking at us like, are they gonna shoot the place up or something?
that's why I was making it very clear. Like I'm scouting the ground. Like I'm looking for something here. Drop something
Looking for
here.
my phone,
Just pardon me. Like so. Then we're like, fuck it. We just keep going, and we enjoy the rest of the thing. So, like I said, we were walking for hours at that point, and by the time we get to the end of this whole fucking thing, it's already been another just several hours. So it's like right in the middle of this universe that we stepped into, this other dimension. You know, I lost my shit, and then we go to the end.
We put it in the past. We did allow ourselves to enjoy the rest of
Yeah,
it.
exactly. I was like, whatever. I have to get a new phone. Fine.
Which props to you, because I would have been fucking like, I'm not leaving here till we find my fucking phone.
Well, I was still hoping, in the back of my head, like something would happen. At least eventually, maybe in a few days, maybe I could calm down and find a fucking place.
Because I think their protocol might be, if they find a phone and they already, because they must streamline it to the end. Any kind of lost items.
We got a phone here, and then
is to just act like they didn't find anything, because that way, it could be your phone, it could not be. They don't want to tell you, oh yeah, we did it. It'll be at the end waiting for you, and then have it not be your phone or something.
Right. Yeah, and even if it was found
shout out
at that
to those
point,
creepy ass dudes that work there.
the creepy coworkers. Thank you,
dude. They freaked me out when we walked into the restaurant portion. It was like kind of depressing. It seemed like a retro, like a Little Caesars that was still in Kmart. You know how
it was depressing just because it was just like junk food.
Yeah, shitty food.
Like just some junk food, and it's like that'd be the worst part of the place to work at.
Well, most of the dudes working there were like middle aged, straight up bald on top with the hair on the sides type haircuts. Not happy to see you. And I'm tripping though also, so I'm like hyper analytical. I ordered a beer because I found out they had beer, and it was just such the most awkward transaction.
Because can I get tokens too?
Yeah.
Because he's got these machines for
and you got
tokens.
people behind you that are stone sober.
See, Jacob gets extra anxious in the scenario we were in.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, in most situations. So, but yeah, we put it the phone issue. I mean, the exhibits there, man, are just, it's not a museum as much as it is, like you said, a whole different dimension. It's like you stepped into this mad collector's.
Yeah, a mad collector, a hoarder, but like the best kind of hoarder.
Right.
Like it's like we've heard it described as like it's a huge art installation in a sense, because some rooms, there's like giant rooms that are like 200 feet or more tall. And the center of it's just like with a giant sculpture of whatever the fuck.
Right.
And then you got like pathways along the sides of the walls that lead up around the whole thing.
A
up
labyrinth.
to the top.
Totally.
It's a labyrinth because they have the largest carousel. You can't ride it because it's full of figurines.
Right.
Like, there's not
antique fucking carousel animals.
Yeah, and there's not a single horse on the carousel. All those are lining the walls. They got collection of antique carved horses from back in the day when they're all hand done and shit. Yep. On the ride, there's all these like abstract creatures and shit. So whatever, it's crazy. We got to the carousel room after already been going through the shit for several hours. Then we left the carousel room. Several hours later, we're brought back into the carousel room from like another part coming through the wall.
And like a second or third level.
Some crazy like ramp, like walkway shit. It's insane. You got to go there.
We could tell we were nearing the end. And it was just hard to even leave that area. Like, we looked at as much shit as we could. We touched as much shit as we could reach.
Yeah, we took like a good 6 hours, and it could have easily been the whole 8 hours or more if we could have looked even more carefully at certain things.
Yeah. And when we go back next time, which we will revisit,
we're going to take the whole 8 hours.
Oh, for sure.
We're going to bring some of y'all with us.
I'm going to be right at the front door as soon as they open them up.
As soon as they open, we're going right in. And and it was insane. I'm already like tripping when I'm trying to buy my tickets, like for one, please. Fucking like
all 3 sections.
Yeah,
you got all
like,
right.
It's like 3 sections apparently. You could buy separate sections, but you want to do the whole thing. So I'm like, could I get 3 for 1? The whole thing.
The guy is just like, he was actually pretty cool. He was pretty responsive.
Yeah, we've seen this before. Lots of drugs.
Yeah, and he's got to see like Russians, people from China.
There are a lot of foreigners too. It's a tourist trap, is what it is. And the dude has a lot of collections of anything. There's a fucking lighter collection, a phone collection, horses, carved horses collection,
miniature
carousels.
Dollhouses, miniature circus things, like circus tents with miniature
models
figurines.
And shit. Like there's a whole nautical section with like boat and like nautical memorabilia stuff. It's like, what in the fuck? How? And a lot of it's like also fun and like surreal. Like there's a whole like gun room with like crazy guns, and some of it is like they've like made some things fun. Like they have like an 18-barrel gun,
like
some
18-barrel pistol. Or
some crazy shit that they made like for fun. Like they would make things that look like antiques just like for fun. It's like a weird thing. Some things are real antiques. Other things might be replicas of antiques, or just some crazy shit that they dreamed up. It's just like a crazy fun place.
Man,
like,
the gun room, like I've never been like particularly. Firearms have never spiked my interest, but like looking at all the designs, the weapons made out of straight ivory, fair trade, whatever.
Fair trade, yeah. Like they have like some back in the day when people used to, do a lot of ivory shit back hundreds of years ago.
Transported straight from like China.
Yeah, and they had a sign post like it's all fair trade. It's like from back in the day. It's not like some current shit. It's some of the most detailed, insane artwork I've ever seen in my life. Some of the most insane craftsmanship I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, the mere
even like pieces
volume.
of furniture that's like insanely like ornamental, like detailed, like with inlays of like pearls or some crazy shit and like an artistic design and
the
crazy
volume
wood carvings.
Of it alone of the collections and just the space that you're walking through the entire time, the spaces that you're walking through is so inspiring. Like when we left there, and even now, like I find myself still inspired, even if I'm not thinking of it directly. Like I find myself being inspired by that shit because it's the amount of preparation, the amount of work that was put into this place, whether it was Alex Jordan, for the majority on his own, or he had staff eventually,
and it's grown over the years.
Yeah, people donating shit maybe. Just the mere volume of it.
It's insane because, like we said, we're walking through it.
It's an experience like none other.
Yeah, the sheer volume because we're walking through it.
Yeah.
And like for fucking 8 hours, like you're just walking constant and just shit lining the walls and everything. And it's like dimly lit and everything's trippier than fuck. So it's like the perfect place to drop some shit, and go.
I feel like that's the closest thing to time travel that I could think of.
It's like you're stepping into like the past.
At a certain time, you step in and you're walking through seeing all these things from the past. And then 8 hours later, you've traveled 8 hours through space and time. You know what I'm saying? That's
being in there. It's like it gave me
get a flashback.
Being in there, it's like gave you like an appreciation or like maybe a better understanding of like, because if you're just thinking like, man, could you imagine living back then? And then like, what? It's like they cared so much. About craftsmanship. It's like for what? It's like because it's like just
the
for
effort. It almost made me feel like nothing is pointless. Like even art-wise or music, creative-wise, it's like, why did I ever feel like, oh, this is stupid, this is silly, this is pointless? Because, I mean, with the amount of stuff in there and the randomness of like what was in there, it's like, this is amazing. Like, even the miniature circus tents that they had on display,
models
and like
shit.
the models and the figurines, it's like
how, dude, and the boat models.
Our eyes were straight up just like, we want it all. We got to take in everything, man.
Dude, it was like some of the most intricate like craftsmanship, artwork, memorabilia, like collectibles, insane, like larger than life sculptures, like whether or not it was real or like even a recreation that was made out of like what looked like real parts. There was like one room where we're walking around all these pathways around a giant engine. You remember that? It's like an engine for like a cruise ship. It's like biggest components you've ever seen in your life. They had like these vehicles. They also had like these vehicles from like the 1800s. It's like, what is this, a giant tractor or something? It's like some giant coal powered. The wheels are like bigger than this room. Some giant made out of fucking iron like vehicle. It's like, what the fuck is this shit? It's like,
seriously, we are going to gather a group of like creatives that that we hold dear to our hearts around here, and make a fucking crew it up there, mob up there.
It's insanity. Like we the whole ride home, it's like a 3-hour car ride, and we were like speechless the whole time. We weren't even talking. Right. Every now and then we're just like, wow. What the fuck?
The only things we said for most of the ride back was, dude, that was fucking crazy.
Like, what the fuck? What? And we were like, literally, like, what just happened? Like, we were
gonna go eat after that, but I feel like, of course, it was my anxiety kicking in after knowing now that we have to be in a town and go to a smaller location where things aren't all fucking trippy and crazy like a restaurant. We planned on getting food, but my anxiety kicked in. We're still tripping. Me, at least. Like, I know you were too, but I was like, I don't. And you're like, well, let's just go back then. So we just left straight from there.
And it was kind of nice because it was still daylight. With the sun. And I hadn't been to Wisconsin for a while, and I forgot how beautiful that was, too. Oh, God, yeah. Just driving through that shit, all the hills. It's like some fucking shit you see at the grocery store, I've been saying. Like, shit you see on, like, the package of cheese, like the dairy farm fucking pristine, picturesque fucking farmland that's like literally, it's right over there. Like, beautiful.
The rolling hill, like,
beautiful, like,
there,
farmland and shit. It's like, wow, this is amazing. It's like,
seriously, if any of y'all who are gonna crew up with us are listening, just wait, dog. I mean, this is seriously, like, I want to go back tonight. You know what I'm saying? They actually have a thing in October. It's like After Dark.
Oh, fuck.
House on the Rock After Dark, and it's probably like spooky themed and shit.
And I do want to go there. Like, that would be fun for the October thing. But do go there. Like, they do close down at some point for the winter, but I would enjoy going there in the spring or summer because most of it is indoors, but there are parts where you're let outdoors too. Because it's House on the Rock. It actually is built around like this huge, you wouldn't call it a mountain, I guess, but it's like big rock formation out in the woods. And it's like, because originally it was like this guy had this house built kind of like in the style of like Frank Lloyd Wright or something to like spite him or something weird like that.
There's a lot of stories,
a lot of stories. And so the first shit you walk through is like the actual original house. It's like a crazy kitchen and living room and shits like this, all winding through low ceilings and shit. And then they have this what they call a infinity room, which is like a fucking pointy room like jutting out from the rock face, which is like you walk, it's all lined with windows, and you're walking out as far as you can until you get to a pretty like a smaller point, and then you can see in front of you there's like glass floor that you can look through, and you're like way above the tops of all these trees, high as fuck.
I was practically shitting myself.
You can see for miles, and this thing juts out from the rock face like however many fucking like couple hundred
ceiling,
feet.
Floor, meeting in the middle at the end of it, like
point, and it's like,
and there's even a bar that you can't go past.
And this whole thing that shoots out from this rock face is not supported at all. It's just shooting out from the rock.
This shit wobbles.
It blows in the wind.
Yeah, and I might have been tripping a little hard too, but because that was like one of the first things we seen. But yeah, I felt like every movement I made, I could feel the thing like. Like, oh God, please don't let me be the one to to die in this shit.
And then there's other parts where like mainly at first there was some of the outdoor walkways and shit that like it leads you up to this other weird point on this other like high rock or something, this other room or part of like a house, and it's like we were in there for like an hour, it feels like. Then we get shoot back out the other side. I'm like, wait, we're back where we started. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
like,
the actual house part of it that was supposedly the living quarters.
Yeah, it's like
of Old Boy is so insane. Like such low ceilings.
Yeah.
And it was the house itself was built around a rock. Like
and
I guess that's House on the fucking Rock.
And a lot of it's like Asian inspired kind of shit too. A lot of stuff like that.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Very rich.
Yeah, literally like blew our minds. Like, what the fuck? We've
been holding all this shit in too.
Yeah, we wanted to tell you guys.
Yeah.
We haven't had an episode for a while with just us, and so literally like stepping into another dimension. It was insane. Like incredible. most incredible shit I've ever seen in my life. Like, it's just as far as like stuff, like collections of random shit and just fun shit. But yeah, definitely got to go
Can't wait
check
to
it out.
revisit. We're gonna film there. We're gonna do.
Yeah, we
either
did film, but
skits or
then I
music
lost my
video.
phone. So
Yeah, and all my fucking pictures are taken on a shitty Android camera. So,
yeah.
but before we cut this thing, because I gotta, as you know, I gotta things to
We've got some. We've got some prior engagements this evening.
If anybody's still listening, I'll just say me and Obs have something in the works, another track in the works. I've got a project in the works. I don't know why I feel compelled to talk about what I'm doing, but yeah, I got some shit in the works. It's weird being stagnant for so long creatively, and then like a few things happen, and it's like the floodgates open, you know.
Yeah.
And Cody's got some things in the works too. I know he doesn't want to reveal yet, but
various multimedia things as well. But yeah, fucking traveling's insane. You got to get out there and travel. We got to a lot more.
Yes.
It's insane because, like, yeah, time travel. With technology, how we can go so fast nowadays. It's
my God. I mean, you don't even need to know where you're going. You just type the shit in.
Yeah.
To maps.
And fucking planes and shit, too. It's just so fast.
We really are lucky to be living in, I'm sure people in every century has thought this, but, I mean, in this time here and now, we're so lucky. Like, traveling-wise especially. We don't need a map. We have Google Maps.
Could you imagine if we had a Tesla? We don't have to drive, really.
Right, yeah.
On the highway, at least.
Yeah, I still don't know if I trust that.
I don't trust the other drivers, is what I...
Yeah, well, yeah, and I don't trust that thing to react to the other. Anyway.
But, yeah, fucking...
Go travel through space and time.
Go do some time traveling.
Let's do it. You've been thinking about it. We know you have.
Let's go together.
Let's go together.
I know a lot of good shit around the country. A lot of good shit around the country I can take you to.
Yeah, let Code V be your guide.
I'll guide you on
and let Poor Bill be the backseat driver.
Was that the exit? He's gonna piss you off a lot. No, just kidding.
All right, we love you guys.
That's it. Alrighty.
Peace.
Goodbye.